Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2. We're here in turn 9 and I did discuss last episode what happened. So we finally got this pocket correctly here, so that's pretty nice. Of course we took Tallinn last turn, so I'm pretty happy about that. Besides that, we encircled Smolensk, but because the enemy can teleport, they got away. Well, these guys didn't get away, but we have to re-encircle them. Besides that, the enemy did some fairly interesting things, like they were magically able to take these few hexes out of nowhere, because there's no unit in here. And they did the same kind of stuff over here, like really strange hex grabbing techniques, which I really think that they should improve the game upon. Like, I do not think this is in any form realistic. Like, I understand I'm playing on challenging, but like, this is just absurd. Like, this has, it just makes no sense whatsoever. So either way, I think they should fix that. Not because it makes the game harder, but just because it is unrealistic in any possible way. Anyway, I don't... it's interesting that they actually turn off these naval ops if I actually do own that. Let's execute the air directives and see what we can do. I do wonder whether they will ever change that, though, what I just described. Like, it seems to be tied to the take empty hex kind of strategy that these guys have at some point. And yeah, it's just kind of weird. I don't know. The thing is that you kind of want this game to be both as realistic as possible in terms of the AI, as difficult as it is. So the best thing would be kind of to have both an AI which is adaptable to how difficult you want to make it, and then you wouldn't have to give the AI bonuses in terms of rules and things like that, because I think the difficulty spike should mostly come from having an improved AI, for example. But that's just me. Anyway. Let's keep going here. And get rid of a bunch of these guys. Now, it effectively means that we now still have this motorized, but something tells me we'll be able to get rid of that in the next episode. Either way, or next turn, I should say. I'm not particularly pleased by the fact that they did not surrender, but here we are. The reason why I think it's so important that they surrender is, especially on this side. Let's see, I do need to take as much territory as possible, so actually moving them back is probably a good idea here. It's a shame I cannot move them further up through any means. Let's just get you into Pskov. So I'm probably going to move this rail line further up starting from this turn, but we'll see how these things go. I do have this entire area now, but that also naturally means that I'll try to attack with infantry as much as possible. I'll do heart attacks because that gives me the highest likelihood of the enemy surrendering as well. Let's just go here. Let's do the same thing over here, of course. Yeah, let's go back, and I'll take these 2 hexes first so they cannot retreat further. They should surrender. Yeah. Okay. That's good. As usual, I do like to do the surrenders, etc. first, so we'll have dealt with that. And they're sending out tons of planes here, interestingly enough. Indeed. Actually part of the core up north, which kind of makes it a bit of a problem. Not that much, but either way, I'm gonna think about my strategy for these units. It's still a big pocket, so there might be some issues up there still. If I split them up, can I get one in here? Yeah, okay. Let's see if I can do it like this. Yeah, great. That does save me a bunch. I cannot move them anymore, but that's fine. I don't really mind. So we have 2 more units up here. This is a depot, so taking the depot should ultimately help as well. Let's get you into Mogilev though. They have 2 units here. We'll see how this goes. They're still very dug in, interestingly enough. Yeah, this is fine. I actually don't need air units here. Oh. Alright, they did surrender, that's good. They lost 102 bombers as well, holy cow. Anyway, I will not be able to take down these guys, but we're actually doing okay here. Let's leave that for now, and let's see, I don't think I have any other pockets that really gets my attention. I mean, I'll re-pocket this, but yeah, okay. Oh yeah, there's these guys, of course. Let's go. Just retreated. You're gone. They only had 5,000 anyway, so. Yeah, they'll probably surrender anyway. These units are very weak, interestingly enough. Now, if I want to take those other hexes, I kind of need to move along this route. I mean, I'm not by myself going to take this hex. So what I can do is I can just let the Polizei SS division take care of it. So they will go towards these areas anyway, and then they can also take those last objectives. But it's probably better indeed to just you know, solidify my lines there as well. Moving up north now. Let's take the city. Reserve tank division. I still pushed them back at least, but let's move you up in here, and let's see what we can do. If that's still only the cavalry, then yeah, that's pretty good for me. All right. Interestingly, I could try to push back this naval unit. Naval brigade's pretty weak, but I'll just leave them and put these guys on refit. They can rest for a turn. And we do have this this area covered pretty well at this point, so you don't hear me complain. Let's also move the 18th Army from Parnu to Tartu, since I do feel this is pretty safe right now. And this also puts this a lot closer to Pskov while these guys move through the last part of Estonia up there. If we look at the numbers, Soviets 2.851, so I do hope to get this below 2.8 during this this episode. We'll see. I also need to put back some decent someone's over in here. Now, one of the weird parts is indeed, well, I think they even attacked the 121st. Not too sure. How's their TOE? 44, so not too great. Yeah. Either way, with this done, I should be able to send these units from 9th Army further over in that direction. Seems like these guys got kicked away from somewhere. I don't know where. At any rate, moving in here doesn't help if I want to do a heavy attack. I think, though... Well, let's start. This is also 6. I guess Staria Rusa is empty. Huh. That's interesting, because Staria Rusa has a very good defensive point. Well, the most well-defended point, interestingly enough, is actually this hex. Although this hex is also really defensible. So, the thing is, of course, this is a heavy woods hex with rivers on all sides, except for this hex, which is a swamp hex. So it's very easy to defend from this. Of course, if we want to go full historical, although I personally think the Germans don't really have a whole lot going on around here, is basically, yeah, we have to get all the way to Demyansk. The Germans did capture Molfotitsi, but then they never captured Ostashkov, however you pronounce that. Yeah, they kind of like bend it around there. So that's basically where German captures ended. Of course, also kind of here too, but we're finally getting into the Leningrad area. So that is pretty nice, at least. Now, I could already move them up, but well, let's do a heart attack with you guys. So, because they're a motorized unit, I don't generally care that much, and we did get a bunch of surrenders from that. Overall, I'm pretty happy. What I need to do, though, is I need to get this unit a little bit closer and then do a deliberate attack. Now, I actually don't think... No, if I don't actually grab this hex, it must mean that they have at least a unit in this hex, so their zone of control keeps extending towards that area. I don't think they'll surrender, no. But I do think, indeed, it was already necessary to try. Let's take a look. Yeah, they have plenty of units inside that centerpiece. So it'll take at least another turn before I finish all of this. Of course, I'm dangerously short on units for these units, or for the 18th Army. The 16th, sorry. I'm short on units for the 16th Army overall. I don't even know whether attacking here might potentially be useful. It likely isn't, even. I generally like to do the easier stuff first, and then afterwards try to do the more complicated things. I wonder. I don't think this is a regular security division, most likely. I could technically move into this city. It's tricky. I'm gonna wait there a bit. So let's actually start here. With taking these hexes. That here. Now again, I did talk about this before. It actually makes absolutely no sense that they capture this. There are no units in here. So they actually should not be able to even grab it. See, it's just completely empty, and that's why it's so ridiculous. Right, well, let's see if I can cross the river, and apparently I can. You see, I don't really need to attack Kiev itself. This might be a problem. They'll just retake this hex and isolate these units, I think. It gets really annoying when these guys no longer rout, but only retreat. That's a really bad point for me. Because I'm getting severe losses, whereas they don't really get into too much trouble at all. And now they're even... okay. I mean, this kind of retreat is not too bad. I don't mind it if they take such big losses, but otherwise things are... Let's take that depot, at least. I would say that the 6th Army is also not doing even that amazingly in terms of strength here with these units. They do seem like they could use a rest. If I could pull them back, I would, but I just straight up can't. Again, because these guys didn't rout. I could be looking at a potential encirclement, a smaller one here for a good 80,000, something like that. Could be in the cards around Cherkasy, since this is a pretty weak unit. I could see myself do that. First of all, let's make sure that we have this covered quite well. And I guess we should. I mean, I can re-encircle these. That's not really going to be a problem. I'll leave the Romanians to deal with this encirclement. Wow. Okay. Was it really that difficult? Huh. This also takes 8, so you can't just go about and cross very easily. The Romanian cavalry could technically cross as well. but it's not super amazing. So why are you here? Is because this railroad up? Yeah, you still have a long way to go though. To go full circle. That will take at least 2 more turns for those guys. I'll probably go into that hex to repair. Probably. But we'll see. As usual, I'm kind of just going all over the place. I don't think many infantry units can actually sneak in between. It doesn't look like they can, indeed. But I can actually go in there with the mobile brigades, which is probably the best solution currently. In terms of doing a re-encirclement. And yeah, not even the Romanian cavalry corps can get into that hex. One thing that would be nice is if I could push them back with the soft attack, but okay, I could. Now, I totally expect there to be an enemy unit in Nikolaev. It's not as if I think that I can now just only take that. Yeah, indeed. But at least it allows me to push into this hex right next to it. And it probably does not... Okay, it does actually make it easier for me to move both Romanian units in there. Yeah, that's good. So that will... Can you move in there now? No? How about you? The good thing about it is that now let's actually move you in there, and I'll use 1 Panzer Division to hold this. That'll be enough, and now technically you guys are kind of free, but not really. Anyway, I need to wait at least another full turn before I get to do anything with these guys. There are a lot of them. That at least is nice. I'm happy about that. They have a defense of 2, huh? And it is a port, interestingly enough, as well. Right. Anyway, I want to take the unit which is furthest down below that can still attack, which seems to be these. For the encirclement that I was talking about. Or at least potential encirclement. The naval brigade was fairly weak. So at that, if I push them to the side, that should already be enough. So, but I want to use 2 divisions in this attack. Can you do a hard attack? Yes. So unfortunately, then they need 7. Wow. I did not expect that. Kind of wish I could have taken it back now. I did. The chance that there's anything else that can get 7 is practically 0. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was afraid of this. They did hold at least, but it does then seem they have something else in there too. Let's just start here. Take Cherkasy. You see, that is actually pretty interesting because that suggests to me that I might actually be able to snag those units as well, with the emphasis on might. And that would potentially be another good 100,000 troops, or at least, yeah, at least 50 to 60, I think, if I can keep that pocket. Which is quite important to do. Interestingly, yeah, they're below 4,000 in terms of tanks right now, but they do still actually have quite a few tank divisions and motor mechanized. But they will continue on for, well, I think quite a few turns more until they get below 1,000. These are only my losses. I don't know. I can actually take a look at the Soviet losses. T-26, M31. So they did lose an insane amount of T-26s. They've already lost over 1,000 T-3441s. That is... wow. They start having rifle squad minus because apparently, yeah, that's. I wonder what that is. Need rifle squad 41, and then they have rifle squad minus. That's interesting. So I could technically push them back. I probably should. It's pretty tough moving in around here. That's actually the main problem. So I really need to push those guys back. Yeah, you're not going anywhere. Yes, two is technically enough. So I need a big stack of units here, at least. And it seems like, of course, they're all from different HQs that are all too far away. It would be rather ridiculous if they didn't get pushed back. Now, the toughest part is that I kind of need to get into that hex there, because the likelihood of me being able to get around through that way are very low. Yeah, especially because well, those tanks, for example, they're... The main problem is still these tanks, and in order to make it easier for me to move into that hex, I kind of... Can I move anything in there and then attack? I probably can't, no. Well, that was already a far stretch anyway. Let's take the 827 one. Routing the tanks is not exactly my or the best strategy, so to say, but let's take Corson, suggesting that this is empty. I wonder if this... That's a problem. From here to here costs 8. So technically you would think that from this hex they can move in there. You would think they could. Well, what it might be best for me to do is, if I don't want to... I'm not going to snag these two. It's just going to be impossible. I don't know what's there. This puts them at 13. So that will become like 10, 7, 4... and then they're stuck. They can't recross this river. And then there's these hexes that are still available to them. So that's not gonna work. Moving in here at least allows me to encircle this smaller pocket and probably keep it pretty tight actually this way. Now, if I were to be able to get a unit into Smela, that would be even better, but I really don't think that's going to be possible. No. And I would like to keep Cherkasy. I also cannot move into this hex, unfortunately. I will actually move these guys up though, so we have the entirety of the 6th Army over in this area now. That's probably for the better. Yeah, you're gonna stay in there. So Cherkasy, 4 manpower. Okay, but that's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So indeed, it's around 60,000, most likely-ish. I don't mind that for a capture of a turn, actually. I think that's pretty reasonable. Meanwhile, I'll continue to move forward with the rest of my armies as well, while I will have units set up to deal with this, but... let's have the motorized division on a refit. And I want you. It doesn't really matter where they go. Since I'm not really looking to attack there anyway. Yeah, the chance of me taking Creefoy Rog on this turn are slim to none. Maybe on the next turn. But I'm so focused on capturing enemy units, just in general, like encirclements, that my movement forward has been slowed significantly, but it still is, I think, better this way than anything else. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll probably, well, let's move you into Kirovograd behind the lines and let them refit. Meanwhile, there are some units. Well, so what if they are not directly adjacent to the front line? Like, it's probably better for them just to stay in these hexes. And I'll let some of the weaker units. Well, I mean, come on, this is. They're just so fatigued. They need to rest. Basically, there's just nothing else they can do. Okay, I did not plan to take this score. Yeah, they cannot move any further. It would have been nice if they would have been capable to get in there, but I'm not going to do a soft attack on them. Basically, next turn I can route these and start moving further along this rail line towards the south and then move up through this weird area over here. I do have to be careful because these guys can go down and then route all these HQs at the moment. Let's move them up. Next, you guys are having these. That's great. I do think I should switch this at least to the 4th Corps at the moment. There we go. And there are two options. I could try to attack these or these. It really just depends. You cannot get an attack in either way. Well, the thing is, I really would like to cross the river, but that also seems to be impossible with you. Interestingly enough. Alright, well, let's have you on refit. That probably means they will not be able to do an attack even on the next turn. It's complicated. Yeah, I can't see whether that's a regular security unit or something else entirely. Let's just take the hex. It's a motorized rifle division. This is also, well, they're fine. Okay. Romanians, like I said, they are going to take care of this pocket. Or that's the goal. There seem to be a few more units in there than I expected. I mean, that's good in a way. But maybe also a little bit scary. So, what I will do then with these guys is well, let's see. So I'll start with you at least securing this position. So I want to have the 11th Army pretty much move all of these guys close to Nikolaev. Let's move you this way. And yeah, this is kind of like new territory taken. So it will take a lot to get through there. One thing that's actually quite interesting is I could try to use this to leapfrog my way across the river. And it would be unlikely. 7-5, yeah. That's a bloody shame, but okay, it seems like I cannot now cross, unfortunately. I think it was worth a try either way. Like, it would have been too hard to take Nikolaev that way itself, but I still wanted to try crossing at least. Anyway. I'll just have you refit in there. Okay. Yeah, this is a shame, but oh well. The thing besides though is I want to rest with these tanks while being close to the front so they can start moving again next turn. Being on refit like this, even for them as well, is fine. And let's move you one further. Sure. Unfortunately, they're quite a ways away from any HQ or anything. You have just... What's that? Okay. So then what we'll very likely see next turn, being able to cross here as well. Hopefully me being able to break through this and move towards D and Z town. But interesting that they put those units there. As I said, this is just completely empty. So the fact that, you know, they took that territory is rather retarded in that sense. I can probably move them by rail, yeah. Which is a lot better because they're not getting exhausted at that point. You can just move normally though. So that helps. You're at least moving to Venezia. And then first Panzer Group at least will move even further. Probably up till here, since we do... this is still pretty far from the HQs. You're too far, okay. Yeah, it might, because the rail line is working up through there. It makes it a bit tricky for the moment. Alright, either way, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish this video here. I'll continue along in the next episode. I want to thank everybody for watching. Do hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next episode where we'll deal with some of the, tougher decisions, I suppose. I am fairly happy about getting decent encirclements. Like, this one isn't too big, but it's still, again, a pretty decent encirclement. And then this is actually a pretty big one from what we can see now, is that, it's 2 rifle divisions, 3 with some other units as well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're talking about 13 rifle divisions alone in here. Together with an assortment of cavalry and tank units. Of course, we tried to pocket this already last turn, but then we didn't succeed. This turn we did. So that's pretty good. I'm doing everything I can to keep those Soviets numbers somewhat low, or at least as low as possible. These are probably only air units. I don't think these are anything else. Supply is a bit tricky in this area, but we'll probably be able to route these, and these, and then hopefully things will be a little bit easier there. Same for here. Yeah. Either way, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, see you then, and bye-bye.